Hey Joe, I thought I would do something a little bit different today, and this might make it a little bit easier to so we know so that when I talk about something, it's clear exactly what I'm looking at, and that so you're looking at the exact same thing. You know, I opened this picture of Baloo, and I just went, "Wow!" You know, this was just dramatic. And when I look at it, you've got the light and the dark and the values, and look at those eyes. He's just like looking at you. Um, and the nose again, I see you made all the different observation changes that we talked about last week. I'm sorry if this is shaky, but I don't have my usual setup here. But hopefully you don't get dizzy looking at it. Um, yeah, so it was definitely had a wow factor in it today when I looked at it, and part of that is because you've got the lights and the darks, and you've got some grays in there, and those are the things that really just make something very eye catching, is having all those different values in there. Um, you've got the eyes, you've got some really nice reflections in there, so that you can just see he's looking off into this direction. The nose is right under the eye there, just like it is in the photograph. Um, which is a very, it's so right brain for you to recognize it and not want to center everything. I see you soften that up so that it shows where his lower jaw is without making this a line of itself that's very eye catching up against the white. So that looks really fantastic. Over here where things kind of get a little kind of like a Y shape, you did the same thing there too. It looks really good. You're tackling the muzzle where that looks all nice and gray in there. It's kind of a mixture of the black and the white together with, some of the black going into the white, some of the white going into the black. Again, really nice and 3D on the nose. This ear just has that nice silky feel that lab ears have. So, yeah, so you're really, your observation skills are just really growing on this one. Like I said, this has got a nice, really wow factor to it. So all that being said, if you want to look at some tweaks that I noticed for this week, um, one of the things that when we were doing some life drawing, when we're drawing from a model, the teacher told us that things don't exist by themselves, and you can look at where they are in relationship to other things. And I think I talked a little bit about this on one of my videos from last week. And to get everything in place on Baloo here, one of the things is this shoulder here. So he's kind of standing so that it's very straight down on this side, and then he's kind of got this lean out, so this shoulder is kind of up in the air. So we want to get that feeling that he's kind of got that lean going on, and he does have these little pointy places. He has a pointy place here where it kind of angles in, and he has a pointy place here where it angles in. And to figure out where those things go, they don't exist by themselves. They're kind of have a relationship with other things. So, for example, this shoulder comes up and up and up, and I'll put my, whatever that makes a difference if you can see my eraser better. It comes up and up and up and up, and then it curves in. And watch, if you don't stop there, but you keep going, look how it kind of connects. And if that curve would have kept going, it would have turned into his mouth. Do you see how that's like the top of the hill, and then that curve keeps going around? Now, if we compare it here, we have the curve of the mouth is that little mountain curve, and that shoulder should probably come up to about here. So when you're looking at a photograph to see where to put things, say, okay, if I follow that curve up, oh, it looks like it turns into the mouth. And then if we keep it going, if we stretch it out just a little bit, then that curve kind of will hit where this other angle is over here, but then this goes straighter down. Okay, so I guess we'll just focus on this left shoulder here right now. So this comes up and then is a continuation of the curve of his mouth. Over here, if you're trying to figure out where this is compared to that one, look at the angle here. From that pointy place down to this pointy place is an angle about that, like that. And if I move this over, we don't quite have that. The one on the left definitely needs to be higher. And we can follow that curve or follow that angle, and this side needs to be higher and a little bit wider because they've got that kind of a fat neck. And to figure out where this one goes, if we go straight up from here, you can see we hit kind of the inside of the ear from this point. Where is it in relation to the ear? It's just inside that ear. Whereas if we follow it up from this side, and goes straight up, it hits kind of the eye. So everything here needs to be just a little bit wider. And then this side just has to be a little bit curvier. And then this side is coming pretty straight down, just like it is in the picture. Like if you just move this over here a little bit more, then that would bring it there. The other thing I was looking at, and this, again, these are just really, really picky little details. If you look at his muzzle here, you can see it's kind of, and we did talk about this already, and you're on your way to doing that. It's dark, and dark is in the light parts. Lights kind of go in the dark place, so you can't really see a solid line coming down. And we still kind of see a solid line there. Now, I see you've started doing that, and that it's a good start there, but just that dark line just needs to be broken up a little bit so it's not quite as stark. And then that'll give us the feeling that that kind of curves around, that snout kind of turns to the back. Those, other than that, you're just really nailing this part up here. Okay, so besides the two sides there and just kind of widening that out, and then softening up that dark line. One other thing I noticed is the distance from this part here. Oh, it's going to be hard to see my pencil. From this dark part from under his chin down to his collar. Maybe should just be a little bit longer, and see how that's curved almost like a U shape. And again, one of the things they talk about how things are related to other things. If you follow the curve of this ear, the outer edge, it comes down and turns into the outer edge of that neck. And it turns into a nice oval there under the neck, and then it turns into a nice oval. So as you're kind of sketching him out, you can kind of have these guidelines like, oh, that figures out in relation to that. It's a curve, and that curves up here, and that kind of follows that curve. And then you can kind of see how all these things kind of go together, and then how these things kind of go together. And then that kind of gives you, as you draw those kind of lines, you don't have the feeling that this is separate from this. When you start doing those lines and they all kind of connect into a big circle or an oval, you can see how this will connect down here and this circle will go around and then back up again. It just causes a little bit more unity as you go along. But otherwise, oh my gosh, just look at that dog and comparing it. You're really getting those really deep, dark values. And I applaud you for wanting to draw a black lab, because you're drawing a dark place, then you have to get the light places in there. So yeah, this is really, really coming along. So I'll make this shorter so we can get it loaded up, but well done.